Welcome everybody. ETV Live presents week number 9 of the USTRA Triple Crown Short Track Series. Hello everybody, my name is Justin Rosenau. Joining me in the booth tonight is Evan Pasoko. Evan, how are you doing?
Hey, it's another great night for short track racing here Wednesday night on ETV Live, and I'm looking forward to a great race. We got a big field tonight.
That's awesome. Joining us in the car tonight, he's actually in the race tonight, the promoter himself, Eddie Walczyk. Eddie, digging out the old fire suit, how you doing tonight?
Not bad, guys. I'm excited for a good show. This is one of my favorite tracks ever, and this car at this track is an awesome combination, so pretty excited for it.
I'm excited too. Evan, let's take a look at some of these times here as we get ready to start gridding the field here. About 10 seconds left to go in the practice session here. One thing I want to point out to everybody is TJ Graves did make a qualifying time this week. He's actually starting near the front of the field, so let's hope he has a really, really awesome finish. But starting on the pole tonight, the man who everybody has been chasing is the number 1 of Nathan Saxon. He qualified with a 13.706 quick time award for tonight. And starting on the outside pole, the man who has the only mathematical shot at the Triple Crown right now, and that is the number 2 of Vinny Sansone. Evan, take us through row number 2.
And definitely starting on row 2 for tonight on the inside, it's in the third starting position is going to be the 5 of TJ Graves, and then starting on his outside in the 4th spot is the 7 of Jordan Dow.
Inside, row number 3, starting in the 5th spot, the number 3 of Joshua Hahn. Starting outside him, the number 4 of Mike Morrison.
Row number 4 on the inside, the 7th starting position, it's the 11 of David Chimura. And starting 8th, the number 10 of Ray Farlow.
Inside, row number 5, completing your top 10 tonight, the 8 of Paul Wisniewski and the 6 of Clifton Cockrell. He starts 10th.
Starting 11th is going to be the 13 of Scott Blaney. Starting 12th, the 9 of Ronald Williams.
Inside, row number 7 is going to be the 12 of Brian Williams. And the first car not taking time tonight, the 14 of James Stone.
Starting 15th is the number 15 of Eddie Walczyk up here in the on the radio with us for tonight's race. And then starting 16th is the 16 of Eric Crossan.
Rounding out the field, row number 9. Inside is going to be the 17 of Bradley Smith. And riding shotgun, the 18 of Kyle Moquin. 18 cars tonight here for 120 laps here at the historical 4/10 mile bull ring in South Boston, Virginia. These cars are 650 horsepower and 20 inches wide of screaming Hoosier rubber here at this little racetrack. Evan, I'm looking to see one hell of a battle tonight here as all the fastest guys are up front for tonight's race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got the 12 degrees of banking. You mentioned such a historic racetrack, the South Boston Speedway, America's hometown track as it's dubbed. 12 degrees of banking in the corners, 10 degrees on the straightaway, 120 laps, and again, a big field should be a wild one.
Pace car diving in. Green flag in the air. We are underway here at the South Boston Motor Speedway. Nathan Saxon gets the jump over Vinny Sansone, moved TJ Graves from 3rd up to the runner-up spot right now. He gets to the inside of Sansone and completes the pass going into turn number 3. First position battle on the track right now is the 3 of Joshua Hahn and the 7 of Jordan Dow. And Hahn on the inside, digging deep, not getting it done. They're running side by side going into turn number 3. Give the edge to Jordan Dow right now, but digging hard on the inside. Coming out of 4 is going to be the 3 of Joshua Hahn, not getting it done at the stripe this time by, Evan.
Definitely this time around, it looks like the 7 is having better corner entry, but the 3 right there, Joshua Hahn, had a real good corner entry. He's actually going to make the pass there, so the 7, Jordan Dow, now dropping back into the 5th position. He's going to look to try to make that back up as the night wears on, and everybody else is single-filed out at this point, and they're going to try to start knocking off some laps here as Nathan Saxon has a 3/10-second lead over TJ Graves in 2nd.
The laps go by really quick here. We're doing over 4 laps a minute. We're clicking off laps here inside the 13-second bracket, so I'm telling you, Evan, we're talking 4 laps per minute, and this thing goes green all the way. This thing's only going to take about 30 minutes or so.
And definitely taking a look for some battles on the racetrack. Some cars clumped together, you could say, for the 7th spot. You have the 10 of Ray Farlow. He is trying to hold off a charging number 6 car of Clifton Cockrell. Cockrell got closer that last time by the stripe. He's going to get a good run off of 2. Go to the inside now with the 10 of Farlow. This is the battle for 7th. He's going to make it stick. Farlow's going to give him that spot, so move Clifton Cockrell now up into the 7th spot.
Only battle right now shaping up on the racetrack is going to be for the 10th and the 11th spot, the 13 of Scott Blaney and the 9 of Ronald Williams. Williams wants it, Blaney has it, and Blaney holding that inside line but gets tight and drifts up right in the center of the corner, giving some of the ground back to Ronald Williams. But I tell you right now, early on here in the first few laps of the race here, we're almost completing lap number 10 already. We are on lap 10 right now, so almost 10 laps down and 110 to go, Evan. I'm telling you, right now it looks like Blaney does have the edge getting off the corner, which is oh so crucial at this little bull ring.
And definitely at 78 degrees Fahrenheit, winds to the north at 2 miles an hour and partly cloudy, so a typical night of night racing here at the South Boston Speedway. And with lap times under 15 seconds, drivers are starting to lose their laps. The first car to go 1 lap down is going to be the 18 of a Kyle Moquin, and these guys are going to be consistently losing laps, which means a lot of lap traffic that our leaders are going to have to battle through. So it'll be interesting to see if lap traffic gets in the way when we see possibly a battle for lead lap cars going side by side, how they're going to negotiate that. But right now, also Bradley Smith is going to lose his lap. So Nathan Saxon definitely on the run right now, has opened up a 0.42 second lead rather, and now is actually going to increase it to 0.5 of a second over TJ Graves 15 laps into this thing.
These guys here at the back of the pack are certainly not giving any bit of an inch. I'm telling you, the promoter, Eddie Walczyk, just did his best to tiptoe through there. I was watching a position battle as you were going on, Evan. The 11 of David Chimura and the 14 of James Stone, they made contact. The battle bars on the side of these modifieds, they made contact with each other coming out of the corner. These guys certainly not giving an inch here in the early stages here at South Boston.
And definitely it seems like the battle is continuing. The 13 Scott Blaney under pressure now by the 12 of Brian Williams. This is for 11th and the 12th position. The 12 of Williams sitting in the 12th spot, trying to get that 11th spot from the 13 of Blaney right now. 12 keeps looking to below that yellow line, trying to make up as much time as he can. He's about 1.5 car lengths off this time through the corner. Looks like his car's rolling a little bit better in the center of the corner. He's going to make up a little bit more time, so keep an eye on that 12 car to possibly make a move here on Blaney in the closing laps.
Williams is doing the old outside in trick. He's drawing it right up a little bit higher on entry and dives it right down through the center of the corner, getting a huge run on the 13 of Blaney. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be an interesting battle here, as Blaney is not giving an inch to the 12 of Brian Williams. Williams, again, cuts down deeper on the inside and tries to get that strong run, but the car length advantage now is 2 car lengths at the stripe. Blaney is moving up on the 17 of Bradley Smith, who is already 1 lap down. And just as I say that, I am seeing we have 3 cars 1 lap down on the racetrack. Things are happening very, very quickly here at this 0.4 of a mile racetrack. Definitely a lot is going on. The battle is heating up, though, towards the front of the field. The 2 of Vinny Sansone has got a ton of pressure right behind him from the 3 of Joshua Hahn, as leaders are making their way through traffic right now, and there is a battle shaping up for the lead. Nathan Saxon getting held up behind a lap car, the 5 of TJ Graves. The first 4 cars are running nose to tail, 1 car length apart separates each car right now on the racetrack. I'm telling you, Evan, we got a hell of a battle shaping up here in the early stages here at South Boston for the lead.
And that was all a result of Nathan Saxon really messing up. He didn't get in an error, but he had to check up a little bit to get around the lap car. And he had a 0.5 of a second lead over TJ Graves, and it was over a second back to Sansone. And after that slowed down Saxon there, TJ Graves almost tried to make a move for the lead, and he's not dropping off and trying to get that car to get around that one and possibly go to the lead here, driving it real hard in there on corner entry. The one Nathan Saxon a little bit better off the corner as we come by to take lap number 26. So TJ Graves, again, gains 0.3 in that ordeal. However, Vinny Sansone, 3rd place, who got right back up to these guys, is slowly starting to slide back, now 0.7 off. And it looks like that 3 of Joshua Hahn in the 4th spot, maybe looking to take over 3rd.
battle is on. Sansone has it. Han wants it. Han looking to the inside, going into turn number 1. Sansone shuts the door on Han. Han digging deep, cuts low. Not going to get it done out of 2. Going into turn, actually, I believe it's turn number 1. I have my corners messed up here. Coming out of turn number 2 on the backstretch. Lap traffic going to play a factor. Both cars going high around the 11 of David Chimura. We are hauling tail. I'm telling you what, Evan, you know, almost 30 laps in and 90 laps to go. Certainly a lot of interesting battles here, and I'm waiting to see if tempers flare here because we are on a much shorter track than these cars have been accustomed to running lately.
And meanwhile, while this has all been going on, we now have 6 cars 1 lap down at this point in the race under the 18 that started, and that's what happens. The racetrack being so short, you mentioned 4/10 of a mile. If you're just a little bit off speed with the leaders, when they're knocking down lap times like Nathan Saxon, your leader did last time with a lap time of 14.2, you really don't stand a chance, especially when you start that much farther back and you're battling with other race cars. So that's another interesting thing to keep an eye on. TJ Graves in the 2nd position, slowly starting to fade back from Nathan Saxon, not by much, possibly 2 or 3 car lengths back. Actually, Saxon's going to pick up another one there off of turn 2. Now he works through 4. The 5's making up time on corner entry, but it looks like Saxon's a little bit better speed-wise down the straightaways. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. But now there goes the move. You see the 2 of Vinny Sansone continuing to try to hold off, but Jordan Dow has now gone around Sansone along with Han, so Vinny Sansone having issues.
Sansone a little bit slower and falls to the bottom of the top 5. Dow made up a lot of ground. He was really doing everything he could to hold off the 3 of Josh Hahn. Josh Hahn laid the bumper right to the 2 of Vinny Sansone. Sansone losing the handle on his race car a little bit and looking in on his in-car. He's certainly working the wheel a lot more than, say, the leader would, Nathan Saxon. Definitely the handle definitely not being there here 35 laps in here for the 2 car. Not a whole lot going on the track right now. The only position battle that may shape up in the next lap or 2 is either going to be for the lead between Nathan Saxon and TJ Graves, but Nathan Saxon has been stretching that out a little bit. But another position battle on the racetrack to watch is for the 7th spot between the 6 of Clifton Cockrell and the 4 of Michael Morrison.
And definitely trying to get those things negotiated. Also, 2 cars in jeopardy of possibly losing their laps here quite soon. That would be the number 12 of Brian Williams and the 13 Scott Blaney, 12 seconds back of our leader. Again, 14-second lap times. Those guys are hoping possibly for a caution or to find some speed. They're not battling each other, so they really just need to try to hit their marks and hold off Nathan Saxon. But Saxon running laps consistently 2/10 quicker than those guys, so that 1 car definitely has the right setup for tonight's race, and he is on the run. So he's looking to put those 2 cars a lap down, but let's see if he can negotiate that lap traffic better, because TJ Graves not 5/10 off, only 4 this time by. If Saxon possibly gets into some trouble and doesn't execute that perfectly, next thing he can know, that 5 of TJ Graves could be going up there to the lead.
Definitely, and let's talk about TJ Graves for a minute, because he's actually been the subject of some very interesting battles here on ETV Live in the USTRA Triple Crown Series. TJ Graves usually electing not to qualify, as we're watching Nathan Saxon here pass the lap car, the soon-to-be lap car, the 12, Brian Williams, does that with ease. TJ Graves in the 5, definitely no stranger to going to war on the racetrack, especially with the 2 of Vinny Sansone. TJ Graves doing much better tonight, qualified 3rd, and now he's actually within striking distance of the leader, Nathan Saxon. So hopefully this week is going to be the difference maker for TJ Graves. Instead of loading that car on the trailer, maybe we'll see him in victory lane tonight. And
he nearly got into, or nearly made contact rather with the lap car coming off of turn number 4. Trying to get as much speed as he could. He went all the way up to the wall and almost accidentally clipped the number 15, trying to get as much speed as he could. So he's going to lose about 2-3 there on Nathan Saxon. Graves really driving that car high, trying to pick up whatever he can. So now Nathan Saxon with a 7/10 second lead over Graves, and then these top 2 really the fastest on the racetrack, because if you want to go back to the 3rd spot, remember we saw Hahn, Dow, and Sanson right up with these guys earlier on when Saxon had those issues with that lap car. 3rd place now Joshua Hahn over 2 seconds back, so definitely the 1 and the 5 of the class of the field at this point in the race.
three-way battle for 7th. We got 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack right now, competing for position, trying to work their way around the lap car. Clifton Cockrell has the 7th spot. Mike Morrison digging hard, looking low out of 2, going to close the gap now in between about a car length and a half, coming through turns 3 and 4, driving hard onto the front stretch this time by. Give the edge to Clifton Cockrell. Cockrell maintaining that 1 car length advantage, but I've noticed over the last couple laps, Mike Morrison has been digging deep, but don't count out the 10 of Ray Farlow. Farlow has been running up on these guys and slowly taking some of that time out of there, as Farlow is within about a car length and a half of Mike Morrison. And as I say that, Mike Morrison is there. Almost lays the bumper, gets sideways, drives it in too deep, gets it gathered back up. Great job by Mike Morrison. And man, they had a heck of a job trying to get around that lap car. Some of these lap cars, man, they may cause an incident tonight, being such a short track and such a not quite that wide of a track, Evan. I'm telling you here, as we're already completing lap number 50 in the books, 70 laps to go, almost halfway. I'm telling you, these laps are flying by, and anything can happen here on the short tracks.
And that's what happened there with the incident where we saw with the 5 of TJ Graves and the 15 of Eddie Walls, because the lap cars, rather, they're going to go up to that wall there and stay out of the way, and that's good in the corners because, like you said, you want to come in high and then arc it all the way down to the bottom and get that speed. But when you're coming off the corners, these guys that are trying to get as much speed as possible, they're going to go right up to that wall, and Graves didn't anticipate that, and that's how he almost got into the back of one of those lap cars. And that's really what's causing the majority of the issues, because the lap cars are fine in the corners. You just got to be really careful, rather, when you're coming off turn 4 and turn 2 to not get into the back of them, especially when your focus is on another car that you're racing for position.
Battle heating up for the 3rd spot. Hahn has it. Dow is there. Dow almost gets right into the back bumper of the 3 of Hahn. Dow driving hard out of turn number 2. Puts it right back on the yellow line in turns number 3 and 4. He is right there with lap traffic in front of Hahn. This thing may get a little bit explosive. I'm telling you, these guys aren't going to wait that long being on such a short track. We are going to see the use of the chrome horn as we did earlier between TJ Graves and Vinny Sansone. Doing that here as we're coming up on halfway here in just a couple moments. Evan, I'm telling you, tempers are going to flare with these guys running as hard as they are.
Well, we have 8 drivers, 1 lap down out of the 18 that started it, so the halfway point pretty significant on that note. Also, another thing to mention, TJ Graves is actually now fallen 2 seconds back of Saxon up front, and TJ Graves possibly in jeopardy of losing his position to Joshua Hahn and Jordan Dow there, sitting in the 3rd and 4th spot if they can continue to move up. But Graves has significantly dropped off his lap times, but a 10th slower than Saxon and a 10th slower than Hahn and Dow behind them. So TJ Graves possibly with some handling issues in that race car once we get to the midway point of this race, because he has lost significant time, and that 3 is closing in on him quick.
But one of Nathan Saxon is just running away with this thing. He just had open track here as he's coming this time by to complete halfway of the race. We'll give you a full field rundown in just a moment. Nathan Saxon definitely getting the better shake of things as far as that's concerned, working through lap traffic. And just as I say that here, we'll give you your full field rundown. Out front right now by over 2 seconds right now is the 1 of Nathan Saxon. In the 2nd spot is going to be the 5 of TJ Graves. In the 3rd spot, trying to hold on to that spot right now, is Joshua Hahn. And in the 4th spot is going to be the 7 of Jordan Dow. Dow moving up through the field. Let's see if he can keep running on his charge up to the field. And rounding out your top 5, Evan, is going to be Vinny Sansone. He is doing his best, but he's over 4 seconds back of the leader. Evan, take us through the rest of the top 10.
Yeah, definitely sitting right now in the 6th position. It's the number 8 of Paul Wisniewski. 7th position, the number 4, Michael Morrison. 8th place, the number 6 of Clifton Cockrell. Sitting in 9th is the 6th, or rather, sitting in 9th is the 6th of Clifton Cockrell. 8th actually is the 10 of Ray Farlow, and then sitting in the 10th position is the 9 of Ronald Williams.
As we quickly go through the rest of the field here, these are all cars 1 or more laps down. The 11 of David Chimura is in the 11th spot. Scott Blaney, he's in the 13. He's running 12. Brian Williams is the final car on the track, 1 lap down. First car 2 laps down is James Stone. In fact, he is the only car 2 laps down. 15th through the end of the field here is the promoter Eddie Walchuk. He is 3 laps down, along with Bradley Smith and Kyle L. Moquin. Car having some trouble there. I noticed some sparks on the racetrack not too long ago. Is the last car on the racetrack, Eric Crossan. He rounds out your field. And just as I say that, Ronald Williams goes the lap down, and the leader is certainly doing everything he can to try to get through this lap traffic here. I'm telling you, this is going to get really, really interesting before the end here, and definitely going to have to see how far Nathan Saxon can lap his way into the field.
And yeah, definitely sparks still coming out from underneath that 16 of Eric Cross, and obviously some issues. Trying to see where the source of that came from. Actually, he hit the wall off of turn number 4. Taking a look on the replays here, he hit the wall on lap 46. Wall at a turn number 4, which has messed up the right side suspension of that race car, and that's evidently why he is back down pit road and shooting sparks on the racetrack. So he is currently sitting last place. But on another note, I mean, all 18 drivers besides crossing down pit road for repairs, nobody is behind the wall at this point in the race. So everybody out there still racing at this point in the race. And also TJ Graves sitting in the second spot, that number 5, still under a fair amount of pressure by that 3 of Joshua Hahn in the 3rd position. Jordan Dow sitting in the wings for that battle as well. But now there's only 9 cars on the lead lap, 72 laps in.
72 inside of 50 laps to go. I'm telling you, look at the front end of the 3 of Joshua Hahn. As you can sit here on the television camera angles, and you see him get into the corner, them brakes start glowing really, really bad. He is really driving that car. He is giving that car everything it can handle just to get through the corner. And he's now got that gap between him and Graves inside of about a car length and a half, 2 car lengths, going into turn number 3. Driving hard, coming out of 4. He's got that gap maintained, but he's not really gaining all that much time on the 5 of TJ Graves. But as I say that, Jordan Dow had a little bit of a mistake with the lap car, drifted back a little bit. He's got the gap inside of a car length, 3/4 of a car length now, coming out of turn number 4, crosses the stripe. He is right there, and don't count him out of it just yet. We only got about 45 laps to go here, and I'm telling you, Evan, this is going to be an interesting 3-way battle here for the 2nd spot.
It's interesting to see how it's going to shake out, because once Graves lost all that time, Hahn and Dow really got close to him in about 5 laps. Looked like they were going to run him down with ease, but since then Graves has really picked up his momentum, got back in the flow of things, and last time by ran a 14.4. Actually, that was a tenth slower than his last lap previous to that. Joshua Hahn and Jordan Dow behind him running consistently 14.3s, but it looks like Dow may be looking to make a pass now on the 3 of Hahn. Close the gap a little bit, and he's getting it down to within inches there in the corner. So look at that 7 guy. Look at that 7 really throwing it in there on corner entry. Let's see if he can make something happen.
Definitely. The 7 of Dow is driving hard. He's getting it done, crosses the stripe. He's got that gap at 1 car length right now. Make it half a car length. Coming out of 2. He doesn't quite have the drive coming off the corner as the 3 of Josh Hahn does. Hahn doing everything he can to hold the 7 of Dow off. Dow puts it right on that inside line, and the same does the 3 of Hahn. Hahn shuts the door on Dow again, coming out of 2. Dow is coming. He may use the chrome horn on the 3 of Hahn. He is certainly not showing an inch as Hahn appears to get into the turn 4 wall. That may affect the handling on his race car as Dow is there, getting ready to lay the bumper to the 3 of Hahn. Hahn shuts the door, coming through turn number 4, not getting it done that time by. They're inside 40 laps to go now. Dow almost laying the bumper to the 3 of Hahn. He's being very respectful right now, but as the laps wind down, that may not happen, Evan.
He's really throwing it in there, but that's what is affecting his exit, the speed on the exit of that corner. I mean, we see how much ground he makes up going in there. If he's 1 or 2 car lengths back, he'll get to within a couple feet on the rear bumper of that 3 of Joshua Hahn, but he doesn't have the speed off the corner, and that's why he hasn't completed the passes yet. Some corners you see he throws it in there right now, gets on the apron, made up a little bit of time, but he'll lose it once you really got to get to the gas there down that straightaway. So it's really just the 7 searching, seeing what he can do, possibly trying to get to the inside of the 3 or the outside of the 3 in corner exit at one point, assert his position, and then from that point on look to make that move and make the pass to pick up the 3rd spot, and then possibly taking out the 5 of TJ Graves, who's not much farther up there also.
Battle back towards the tail end of the lead lap right now. The 4 of Mike Morrison has the 7th spot. Ray Barlow charging hard, gets around the lap car of Kyle Elmopin. Barlow put it right back on the bottom, and he's got that gap now inside about a car length and a half, 2 car lengths now going into turn number 3. Both cars put it right back on the bottom. Barlow keeps it lower coming through the center. Caution on the Speedway. This may change everything, folks. Caution on the Speedway. We'll have to see what happened, but this may be the break that everybody needs. I'm telling you, this is going to change everything, just as we seen last week towards the end of the race at the Phoenix Motor Speedway in the Silver Crown Series. Evan, what's happening, buddy?
Eric crossing up and over. A huge wreck, actually. I do believe it was in turns 3 and 4. Yes, it was lap 72. Taking a look at the replay, a collection of incidents caused this the whole thing to transpire. Taking looks like the 15 of Eddie Walczyk having some issues on the back straightaway, got loose and actually made contact with the inside wall and locked up the brakes. Then it caused the 16 of Eric Crossan to go up the racetrack, guessed wrong, actually made contact with Walczyk, and then Crossan got hit in the back end, went up and over. The 12 was also involved in it, and that's going to bring out the caution, and this could possibly change the outcome of this race. Very table-turning incident, so to speak, here, relatively late in the going, just under 50 to go.
Definitely we'll have to see here as the order resets, because pit stops did happen. One thing I want to point out, Vinny Sansone took 2 tires. He's going to be the race leader. Going to have to check to see if iRacing rescores things, but TJ Graves may have gotten a speeding penalty and did beat the one of Nathan Saxon off pit road, but I currently see him dropping through the order, so he may actually have a penalty that he's going to have to serve under the green flag. So tough luck for the 5 of TJ Graves here. We'll have to see how everything resorts out, but as it stands right now, the 2 of Vinny Sansone probably not going to have much to hold off the 1 of Nathan Saxon. I'm telling you, this is going to be an interesting battle here, as we do have less than 30 laps to go here in the race.
Yeah, definitely. I was taking a look at the replays there. It looks like pit road speed appears to be 35 miles an hour, and it looked like that his race car was going 40 on entry and exit. So can't confirm that, but that does appear what that incident was, which would give him the EOL penalty, which causes him to go to the end of the longest line, which is a real tough break late in the going. However, the lights are off on the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, and Vinny Sansone is going to bring us back to green.
The Ford First Mustang pace car gets ready to make that hard left-hand turn. Sansone, we'll see what you can do, buddy. Green flag back in the air, gets a good jump over the 1 of Saxon, but Saxon has 4 tires, sticks it to the outside. Driving hard, coming out of turn number 2. Saxon is there. Sansone doing his best on the inside, not going to be able to hold him off. Saxon drives around the outside, puts the power move on Sansone, moves Saxon to the lead. Morrison is there. He's got 4 tires. He's driving hard, coming out of turn number 2, looking to the inside of Sansone, not getting it done. The 3 of Josh Hahn is there, and he almost laid the chrome horn to the 4 of Mike Morrison going into that turn. Morrison holding off the 3 of Hahn, as Hahn is right on the back bumper of the 4. Things are getting interesting here. Paul Wisniewski inside the top 5 right now. He's joined the battle as well. Hahn looking to the inside, getting it done. He's got a nose there. We'll have to see if it can hold. No. Morrison gets the drive out of the corner. Hahn puts it right back on the inside, side by side, coming out of turn number 4. Give the spot to Hahn. Wisniewski's there. So is Graves. These guys are sitting there looking to freight train the 4 of Morrison. We'll have to see how this affects the race, but as of right now, Nathan Saxon out over a half a second over Vinny Sansone, and then again, it's another half a second, 6/10 now between the 2 of Sansone and the 3 of Joshua Hahn.
And speaking of that 5 of TJ Graves, made an aggressive move to get around the 6 of Clifton Cockrell there on that restart, actually making contact with other cars on the racetrack. The 5 got into the back of that 8 of Paul Wisniewski there in that shuffle there as everything starts to sort out. But what a power move by Nathan Saxon after running up front, took the 4 tires. Vinny Sansone taking the gamble, doing 2, and Saxon powered by him on that top side. It has now opened up a 7/10 of a second lead and growing rapidly as we are in the final 20 laps at this point in the race, and it looks like the 3 of Joshua Hahn in the 3rd spot is looking to take second away from the 2 of Vinny Sansone, because he is all over the back bumper down the back straightaway. He's going to take another look going into turn number 3. So look at that 3 car looking to make a move on Sansone.
I'm telling you, Sansone doing the best he can to hold off some of the best in the Tour Modified business here on iRacing. Han looking to the inside. Sansone shuts the door. Han digging deep. Gets that drive out of turn number 4. Crossing the stripe and give it about a half a car length. I don't think Han can wait much longer as we're almost 15 laps to go. As I say that, man, these laps are coming by really, really fast. Lap car gets out of the way. Contact between the 2 and the 3. Han backs off, gives the car length to the number 2 of Sansone. Han is driving the tail off that car. Look at them brakes glowing, getting into the corner. He's got a better race car. He's got 4 brand new Hoosier tires compared to the 2 of Sansone. Sansone doing the best he can, but I don't think Han can get it done. He's got to get around him now if he wants a chance at getting at the leader, Saxon. Saxon out over a second lead now over the 2 of Vinny Sansone.
And definitely we saw Saxon be so powerful there on that restart because he got that top side so he could get to the gas a little bit quicker there. And with those 4 fresh tires on cold tires, he was able to get by. Now that they've run a couple laps, Sansone, Han's tires are starting to balance out, but that 3 is right there, inches off down the front straightaway, looks to the inside. Joshua Han to run that defensive line. There goes the 3 all the way on the apron to make the passengers side by side at the start-finish line. Han with the advantage. And now here comes the 8 car of Paul Wisniewski in the battle. Sansone drops back. Now he's into the 8 and give the 2nd spot to Han.
Nothing is given, everything is taken. Sansone making contact with the 8 of Wisniewski. Wisniewski not giving an inch, and TJ Graves is on the back bumper. These guys are looking to go side by side, getting into 3. Wisniewski's there, side by side, coming out of turn number 4. Contact! Sansone moves out of the way, move Wisniewski up to 3rd. Graves digging hard. He's coming up on the 4th spot with Sansone in it. Graves definitely having the faster race car right now. Gonna have to see if that works out. I'm telling you, all hell is breaking out here. We're 9 laps to go this time by here at South Boston.
And meanwhile, while this is all happening, Saxon's out there 2.2 seconds ahead of Wisniewski, and Han over a second ahead of these guys. You got Wisniewski there in front, Sansone now under attack by the 5 of TJ Graves as we are closing into the final 6 laps of this race. Looking like Graves has a faster car in corner entry. Let's see if he can get into position to make a move on Sansone. He's going to gain more time there, half a car length. Coming off of turn number 4. He's going to really throw it in there to 1, just inches separating the 2 and the 5 cars. Take a look at this battle as the laps wind down.
Coming up on 6 laps to go this time by Sansone and Graves. We have had them. They say, oh, in trouble! Graves in the wall, hard! Caution on the racetrack. We are going to have a green and white checker dash. I'm telling you, tough luck for the 5 of TJ Graves.
And when you say in the wall, he is literally in the wall. That 5 TJ Graves driving the wheels off of that thing, trying to pick up the spot from Vinny Sansone in the closing laps. They actually made contact in turns 3 and 4, which may have got the 5 a little bit out of shape on the corner exit. Got loose, coming up, overcorrected it, got into the outside wall, damaged the right front, and then literally stuffed the race car into the inside wall and is now behind the wall. His race is done, so after over 100 laps of hard-fought battle, TJ Graves not going to have anything good to show for it, and now Nathan Saxon is going to have Joshua Han and Paul Wisniewski on his back bumper, and next to him, coming up to a 1-lap shootout, and let's see if he can hang on and still get the W.
The plot is thickening. This is short track racing, folks. Nothing is given, everything is taken. The 1 of Saxon has got to get a good restart. If we do go back green, there are cars 1 lap down. We will have to see if they are willing to go side by side and give us that green, white, and checker that we so desperately want to see here on ETV Live. I'm telling you, Evan, the drama is thickening here for week number 9 here in the Triple Crown Series. As I do see the lap car does pull the pit road. Josh Hahn does have a very fast race car, but I don't think he will have enough unless he gets that magnificent restart run on the outside of Saxon. But also, don't count out Paul Wisniewski. But then again, as I say that, certainly never ever count out the Iron Man, Vinny Sansone. He is in the 4th spot. And as I say that, Mike Morrison is now back inside the top 5. The race is going to be over. We are not going to get the restart that we desperately want here. Saxon is going to take the victory here. All he has to do is complete the rest of this lap, which is about a quarter lap to go or so, and one other one. I'm telling you, what a disappointing end here. We were going to have a very, very interesting battle, at least in the top three for the podium spots. Credit to Josh Hahn and Paul Wisniewski. They certainly had every chance to dump the Ironman Vinny Sansone, but credit to those guys. Yes, they did make contact, but this is short track racing, Evan, and these guys kept it clean for being on a short track.
And definitely, and again, tip of the cap to Paul Wisniewski. Started this race in the 9th spot. Once that first caution came out there, really got it done on pit road and drove his car up there into the top 3 and is going to get a good showing after running about 6th or 7th position all night long. But it is going to be Nathan Saxon coming off of turn number 4 to take lap 121, which means the checkered flag. So Nathan Saxon going to take the win at South Boston.
Nathan Saxon takes week number 9 here in the Tour Modified portion of the Triple Crown Series. In the second spot's going to be the 3 of Joshua Hahn. Hahn doing a hell of a job trying to drive up through the pack and did great. Wisniewski drives up from the bottom side of the top 10. Wisniewski, he finishes on the bottom step of the podium in 3rd. The Ironman, Vinny Sansone, he is in the 4th spot. Credit to him, drove a great race, good strategy to get him back out in front with them 2 tires. Just did not pan out the way that he wanted here as we watched the winner, Saxon, try to do donuts here on the front stretch. Just too many cars on the racetrack for that right now. Clifton Cockrell is 6th, Chimura is 7th, and let's see, who's else in the top 10, Evan? Williams, Farlow, and Blaney, isn't it?
And again, 18 cars started this race. We got a nice full field here for some night racing at South Boston, America's hometown track, as it's known. Over 50 years of history of racing at this place. Again, 18 guys started this race. Only 8 will finish on the lead lap, which really shows you how tough it is to get these cars around here and be fast. So tip of the cap again to those top 8 and also everybody else for racing clean. All the drivers mentioning that it was a great race. Everybody gave room, and you love when you see that. You mentioned Vinny Sansone could have got put in the wall several times, but everybody kept it clean, and that's really what makes for the best racing.
Definitely action-packed short track racing here on ETV Live. Nothing better to do on a Wednesday night here in the iRacing service. I'm telling you, these drivers are the best of the best that iRacing has to offer in the Tour Modified Series. And credit to everybody for putting on one heck of a show here as we get ready to go to interviews here in just a few moments. Evan, I'm telling you, I was rather disappointed that Graves again has another bad finish here on a broadcasted race, but credit to Graves. He drove his heart out, but he kept it clean. Just tough luck. He drove it a little too hard there, and eventually it costed him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if somebody didn't catch the race, they look at the score sheet, they're going to see that he's sitting way back there, outside of the top 10, actually 12th place. And that's in no way an indication of his night. He had a strong car all night long. You mentioned he qualified well, qualified in the 3rd spot, only 0.05, so 0.05 of a second off of the pole, which is a really good lap here at the South Boston Speedway. He ran a 13.758 in his qualifying lap, and he was driving up there contending for positions, and he was digging as hard as he could, getting everything he could out of that race car, and ended up wrecking it because of that, but he was giving it 110%, and unfortunately that put him in the inside wall, so another tough night in the end, but a great performance throughout the race.
Definitely. Great job by all, but I do have the winner standing by me right now, Nathan Saxon. Hell of a job here on this tough bull ring here at the South Boston track. I'm telling you, it is definitely a great job there, and great job with the power move to get around Sansone on that restart.
Thanks, Justin. And man, I agree. That was surprising. I didn't expect to get that good of a start. I don't know if he spun the tires or whatnot, but once I went through turn 2, I pushed up a little bit, and since I was still beside him, I figured I had a shot and pulled it off.
Definitely, and credit to you. Great job navigating traffic tonight. That was the one thing that really separated both you and TJ Graves tonight on the racetrack tonight. Just tough luck for TJ Graves. They're getting loose there with a few laps to go. They're giving you the win because there were not enough laps to get the race restarted. But Nathan, credit to you, and tell us just how difficult it was working that lap traffic.
Man, and I mean, TJ amplified that. Just having that pressure behind you while you're trying to get through lap traffic was hard, but I mean, lap guards did a great job to give me enough room to get by them, and kind of have to put your trust in everyone else when you're doing something like that, but everyone did a good job, and I worked out for me. I don't know what happened to TJ, but I mean, he was definitely a worry early, so.
Definitely. And Nathan, you've been dominating the Tour Modified Series. A couple other drivers we do not see this week. The man who stole it from me a couple weeks ago, Gerald John, he's not with us tonight. And then also the four of Mike Littlefield that usually runs. Tell us about just how strong the core group of Tour Modified racers are.
Well, looking back on last season and my championship run that year, that was tough, but I was only really fighting one or two guys on a given week. This race didn't have some of the regulars that we see, but I mean, I was still having to fight like four guys that had a legit shot to get me on those last starts. It just shows how great this series has become this season, and I'm just extremely happy to have such a great group to get together. We almost going green to checker there, and I can't say enough about the competition and how good these guys are racing. And thanks to Eddie for putting all this on, and I'm sure he has done 90% of the reason why we're getting splits this season and not last. So.
Well, I tell you what, Nathan, I'm telling you, you've earned yourself a spot on the BS and Backtalk radio show next week for your victory here tonight in the Tour Modified Series. Great job to you. Nathan, if you have any sponsors, give them a shout-out. Otherwise, just throw out a few shout-outs for people here on ETV Live.
Well, I definitely want to thank my team, Roadrunner Racing, with, Mike Littlefield not here today, but Michael Morrison, TJ, Josh, all those guys. They really they help me weekly, even when I'm having troubles. It really is good to have a team of guys behind you to pick you up if you ever have a problem. But yeah, I got to credit them for a lot, not even just this season, just going back in general.
Everybody, that is your winner for tonight, week number 9 in the Tour Modified portion of the Triple Crown Series. That is your winner tonight, Nathan Saxon, who is the points leader, extending that points lead tonight. Great job, Nathan. And as we go into final thoughts, Eddie Walczyk, we didn't get a chance to speak to you too much during the race. I'm telling you, tough luck for you in the race, but what were your thoughts on just some of the racing action we did see tonight?
Well, I didn't get to see a whole bunch of it because I was too busy trying to stay out everyone's way. I didn't mean to stink up the show there. That basic set that I loaded, I probably should have thought through that a little bit more. Man, that car was just undrivable. It was like a bulldozer. But from what I did see, that strategy when Vinny took 2 tires and ended up there with the lead, I thought we were going to have, it was going to possibly end at a different result. I'm a huge fan of Vinny's, and I've come to become a fan of Nathan. So to see that racing up there, I was sitting in the pits at the time and watching on the other monitor, so I did get to see that restart. I was pretty excited for that. TJ Graves just can't seem to get any luck on these broadcast races. I feel horrible for him, but I want to congratulate Nathan on a great run, and it's looking like he's going to lock up the championship. But all in all, it's been a great broadcast series. We're looking forward to how we're going to make this better next season, and I hated that I stunk up the show back there and brought out that first caution, but the car was undrivable. I should have just pulled in, but it is what it is.
And coming to you next, Evan, what are your final thoughts on this evening?
It was nice seeing a full field. I know Saxon touched on the attendance for the races has gone up, which is why we normally see the splits. But it was nice to see a full field, so to speak, and in one race lobby for tonight, 18 drivers. Only 2 cautions, and with the racing that we saw, clean racing and action all over the track. I mean, we saw dominant cars, and then we saw plot twists with the cautions, and we may have seen some stuff go on there at the end if we got a one-lap shootout. Overall, a great night of racing at South Boston.
Definitely, Evan. And my final thoughts for tonight is you can't get any better than South Boston under the lights, especially in the Tour Modifieds. You know, everybody putting on a great show. A lot of guys having some short track racing contact with each other, but that's the stuff we love to see. Everybody got away pretty much clean for the most part, and I'm telling you, tough luck to TJ Graves. Was really looking for him to make some noise tonight, especially starting up front instead of electing not to qualify. Great job by everybody involved, and I'm telling you, I can't wait until next week. Next week, we are bringing you on Thursday night. So we got a week and a day. So 8 days from now, the sprint cars are going to be at the Concord Speedway. We will see you at around 9:15 or so for that event here next week. Laura Lawson doing a great job on the cameras tonight. Promoter Eddie Walczyk joining us in the booth for tonight. Evan Pasoko joining us. My name is Justin Rose. Now, we will see you next week as we bring you sprint cars from Concord. Good night, everybody.